Boo, boo. I know. Okay, trust me. I know. Let's see. It has been, sorry, I'm going to YouTube right now. It has been 5 months since my last video. My last video was when I met Mikey. If you don't know who he is, you will soon. Now, before we get into the story time, because that's what this video is a story time. This is a true story of how me and my two friends, my two best friends, were less than 12 hours away from being homeless and how we turned it all around and how I went from that to making over $100,000 a year. And in the future, I'll go further in depth about how I went from that to launching my business. But for right now, let's just go over some lore. All right. Now, accompanied with this story time, I have some tequila. Don Julio, to be exact. You know what I'm saying? We gotta rep Don Julio around here. If you're a Casamigos drinker, fuck you. I'm just playing. Casamigos is good too. All right. So for some pre-context, when I was 18 years old, okay, I decided, hey, I want to move the fuck out. Don't get me wrong. I love my family. It was nothing like that. I wasn't like, oh, fuck my family. I want to get away. I love my family to death. However, I did have dreams of doing content. So I wanted to hurry up and move out and be able to pursue that, which I did for a short amount of time. However, I was more worried, obviously, as anybody would be, on paying the current bills. So I got a call center job, which I fucking hated. When I mean hated, I mean I hate it. It's the only time in my entire life where I've hated being at a PC. Mind you, I launched my business on a PC a couple of years later. I grew up on PCs. I love PCs. So to have a job, a situation that made me hate PCs, I knew I had to go. So anyways, I got a job at a call center, but during that time I was streaming a bit on YouTube. I was uploading on YouTube and through and through making a little bit amount of money. All right. But when I went homeless was actually a year later. So when that lease was up, which it ended in fucking flames and chaos. Okay. I moved into that house. It was a 6-bedroom house, 6-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with 2, 4, 6, 8 or 9 people living in it because all of us were in couples at the time. Right. I had a girlfriend. Everybody there was in a relationship except for like 1 or 2 people, but by the end of it, like none of us were friends. All the couples kind of split off. It was just a bunch of bullshit. That'll be a story time for a different day. But anyways, after that lease was over, I decided to move in with 2 of my good friends at the time, who before we moved in together, we were on Discord. They were my IRLs already, but we were on Discord like all the time. And by all the time, I mean like we would be up to like 5 in the morning. We would make more friends by going on like Omegle and like random things. Yes, at the time, you know what I'm saying? We were looking for some of the huzz, you know what I'm saying? However, I was also making a shit ton of Omegle videos, which maybe I'll re-upload onto this channel at some point, even though it's like me as older. But yeah, so we made a shit ton of friends. Like we initially went on there to like make videos and shit like that, but then pretty quickly, like during that hunt of making videos and whatnot, and you know, occasionally looking for hoes, we actually made a shit ton of friends. Like we got more friends from that than we did content or hoes. You know what I'm saying? And so during that time frame, we would just be in Discord all the time until 5 in the morning, and then I'd go longboarding around the town while it still felt like a ghost town and shit like that. Right. Also, it's storming out right now, and it sounds so perfect. So yeah, so that's how we started to bond more. Granted, one of the people that I lived with actually did live with me, and we still made it out of that crib as friends. The first house we called the Goon House. I named it that myself. Yeah, no biggie. And that friend is Dang. You guys have seen them on this channel a million times. He's the sexy, dark-skinned chocolate man. Sorry, let me chill. When he watches this, he's gonna be mad. But me and Dang made it out of the house as friends. And then our third friend was named Mason, and we all lived together, and we're still best friends to this day. We lived together for about 2 years straight until I split off to get my own place. They lived with me for a little bit, then they went and got their own place and stuff like that. So we're still friends though. We're still brothers. But when we were living together in our first apartment, okay, in these places we like to give names. So the first house I lived at I called the Goon House, but then the second one we were kind of higher up in these apartments, so we like to call it the Vineyard, because when you came up the steps it felt like a vineyard, so we called it the Vineyard. And this was easily probably, and I think the other 2 people would agree with me, this was easily like probably one of the best years of our lives. Like it wasn't even a full year time span, like it was that we were living together, but the experiences that we shared in the matter of like 4 to 5 months in that apartment was fucking insane. Like we met one person through one of our other friends from high school, and that person that they had just met at college, and that person introduced us to 8 more people, and then we became friends with them. It was like this group of like 8-ish girls, and then it was me, Dang, Mason, and then Dang's younger brother, who was like, he just turned 18 at the time. He was with us, and then occasionally, like, you know, we'd mix in like some of our other friends, like the boys from high school that were still in the same town as us and shit like that. But like our main group was us 4 guys, so me, Dang, Mason, and his brother, and then these like 6 or 7 girls, right? And we would go out every weekend and we would party and shit. Like at one point, like I'm not even trolling, I can even show footage. I probably won't in this video, but if you guys need the proof, I'll show it in the next video. Like at one point we had like 20 people in our apartment, left had like 24 people pulling up to it. Like when we pulled up to places, we pulled up with the party, you know what I'm saying? Like it was such a good year for partying. As far as college experiences go, none of us were even in college, like me, Dang, or Mason, but we had amazing college experience, right? Like because like we had friends who would come over in between classes. We would get to go to the dorms because they lived in the dorms, and like we just had an awesome college experience. But now let's get to the fucked up shit. So New Year's rolled around, and at this time, it's 2021 when we moved in together. We moved into the Vineyard 2021, and that New Year's transitioning into 2022 was one hell of a New Year's. New Year's Eve passes, it's now New Year's Day. During that month, about a week or two before New Year's, Dang's car proceeded to quite literally smoke and almost explode. And mine did the same. In fact, I will even bless you guys and put in an effort to find a clip on my phone of my car smoking at the time. It's funny as fuck. One of my friends was trying to like kind of rev the engine a little bit, and it just kept making, like, it literally looked like several, not one, not two, not three, but several fog machines were in my engine. Like it was fucking insane. I was basically hotboxing the whole fucking parking lot. Like it was absurd, right?
Bro, chill, look at this.
So Dang and I both lose our cars. Mason still has a car at this point. However, me, Dang, and Mason all lose our jobs as well. Now let's get into how that happened. So Dang at the time lost his job because he lost his car, and his job was as a delivery driver to a place that does not supply you vehicles, let alone gas money. I'm gonna be honest. I lost my job because, well, for one, I lost my car, and two, on the first of the year, me and Mason were diagnosed with COVID, okay? And the first day, I was like, okay, when I tested positive, I was like, I don't really feel anything. Next day, I could barely fucking move. It was insane. I could barely fucking move. Mason and I were sick as hell. Dang's ass got that one, like, what was it called? Vaccine, like the most dangerous one at the time, like Pfizer or whatever, like the one that like niggas were like, if you take this, you gonna grow a third eyeball, my nigga. He took that one, and somehow that shit gave this nigga plot armor, and he didn't get COVID, but Mason and I did. Okay, so we start out 2022 in a glorious fashion of having COVID, losing our cars, and losing our jobs. And we had one car, and it was Mason's. Now, during this time, and for legal reasons, I won't say which of us supplied this method that does not exist, again, because we would never do a thing like this. We are law-abiding citizens. But during this time frame, one of us from the trio basically was fortunate enough to be able to supply all three of us with free food via a DoorDash/Uber Eats method. And again, I'm not going to go into any further detail, but all I can say is anything that was on Uber Eats, we ate completely for free. And that is dead ass the only way we survived. I'm talking, we didn't have jobs, we didn't have cars during that time frame. So I have a mental health issue called agoraphobia, which will keep me fucked up, like mentally ill, at times in my apartment or in my home for like months at a time. Okay. And guess what? That shit kicked in overtime during that time frame. So even if I wanted to walk someplace, which there was nowhere near me to walk, but even if I wanted to walk someplace for a job, I physically couldn't because I felt like I was just going to fucking die. So yeah, so during this time frame, the only way we lived is because one of us had a method to keep us fed, literally. So we ate Uber Eats every single day. And you would think, oh damn, y'all must have been getting fat. No, we couldn't afford to do grocery runs. So we were only eating like once or twice a day using this method, right? And with all the stress and shit, we were still barely eating. We were losing hella weight. I became so skinny, bro, you would have thought I was on drugs. Like my neck was all skinny and shit. It was crazy. So because we don't have our cars and because we don't have jobs and this and this, we're just thinking, fuck, bro. And of course, that, which is very common, honestly, and very natural for this to happen, it put us into somewhat of a depressive episode. And literally the only way we got through it together is because us three would band together. And at the time, we all like would smoke weed and stuff and whatnot, right? Don't worry, we weren't like spending, like whenever we would get cash, we weren't spending it on weed. That isn't what was keeping us broke. We just had homies who would dead ass supply us. I mean, the dispensary would supply us with free shit. Right. And so what we would do is at the end of every night, we would just get together in one of our rooms and we would smoke and we would listen to music. And then very often we would freestyle, which I have like an hours long amount of footage on like one of my hard drives that I need to find because we call it the documentary footage because it's crazy. And we would smoke and we would get together and we would just kind of manifest and we'd be like, dude, shit fucking sucks right now, but we are 100% going to make it through this shit. Not only are we going to make it through this shit, we're going to be stronger because of it. Soon we're all going to be rich as fuck. We're going to be up on our money, all types of shit. Like we would just, that's how we made it through, is we would be like, dude, shit sucks, but we have each other. Literally. It sounds cheesy. It sounds corny, like some movie shit. It literally was some movie shit. That is literally what we did every single day without failure. All right, I believe I have to restart the recording real quick, like pause it and continue it again. So I'll see you in just a second. Okay, to pick up where we left off. Oh shit. Okay, there we go. So yeah, that's literally how we made it through that. Okay, but we still had a huge issue. Month after month of late rent was piling up, and shout out to this company, which obviously I'm not going to leak for privacy reasons and whatever, but shout out to them because they were actually very understanding and very lenient. Now, a big part of the reason why, the only reason why they were allowed to do that and why they were so lenient with us is because COVID gave a huge relief to a lot of people going through rented homes and apartments. A lot. Like COVID literally came in clutch, and that's the only reason why they were nice about it, is because we were like, dude, we got hit with COVID, lost our cars, etc, etc, etc. So like low key, it was damn near impossible for you to get evicted during COVID. In fact, I'm pretty sure at one point you quite literally were not legally allowed to get evicted during COVID for like a whole year or two. Like, it was crazy, which low-key came in clutch. However, at a certain point, it was like, okay, it got to a point where they're like, listen guys, we've tried to be lenient and we have been very lenient. We've tried to grace you guys. However, we're gonna need you guys to pay this shit in full within, like, when they gave us the note on the door, we had like a week to pay like 4 to 5 months worth of backlogged rent, okay? Or like 3 or 4 months realistically. And we're thinking, fuck, like, holy fuck. Now, at this point, it's springtime, okay? Springtime of 2022. And leading up to this, we did some things in preparation. So because the COVID shit was happening, there was a COVID relief fund that was an official program through the government where you could actually get, if you pledge your case, they would literally supply you and help you out with certain shit, right? So we filed for it in December. Flash forward, like when we first got COVID and lost our jobs and etc. Flash forward. So during this time frame, we didn't really have shit to do. I didn't have a car. Dang didn't have a car. We didn't have jobs. We were eating off of this method, and that was it. That's all we had going for us. So I started doing, and this isn't a bullshit, I'm not capping about any of this, and my friends can vouch, all right? What I would do is for like 2 hours every single day, I would go outside and I would leave my phone inside, and I would just like, dude, I'd be out there shirtless half the time, right? Because we had to pay to do our laundry. So we didn't do it too often because we had to pay to do our laundry at like the place we were at. So I would stand outside on some like old Asian nigga shit. I'm not even, let me show you. I would stand outside with my hands behind my back like this, and I would just life watch, as I would call it, universe watch. I would watch the squirrels play. I would watch the bunnies play. And the whole time I'd be thinking, I'd be self-reflecting. How did I let my life get to this point? How to let myself get to this point? What am I even supposed to do? My whole life I've had passion for content creation. Why didn't I feel that fire inside of me? Why did my will to live feel extinguished inside of me? So many thoughts racing through my head. And so that's why I went outside, is I just sometimes I would think and sometimes I wouldn't. And I would turn my brain off and I would just watch life. I would listen to the wind blow through the leaves. I would watch the grass literally grow. I would watch wildlife, bunnies, squirrels, everything playing. Not even in a creepy way, but I'd even people watch. I would just see how other people were operating, how they were seemingly going through life while I felt like I was frozen. And the whole time I would do reflections, and some of the times Dang would come out by me and he would talk to me and I would kind of tell him what was going on in my mind. But for the most part, he just came out and he joined me for a little bit and I would just be silent and I would just be watching. And then I started thinking, and then eventually I started manifesting and I started talking to myself, and then I would start talking to Dang. And I remember I would just always be talking about how I think I was able to figure myself out again, and I think that I know what my path is. And I just knew that it was supposed to be content or something like that. And I knew that everything would improve. And I always just remember telling him this. And then eventually I did this thing where I got a McFlurry from McDonald's, and then I put it in the freezer to like, cause it got liquidy, and I put it in the freezer, but I forgot about it. So it was frozen solid. So then for some reason it just clicked in my brain when I took it out. I recorded a Snapchat video and I was like, at McDonald's, count your fucking days, bro. And I acted like they gave me a fully frozen solid one because the spoon was still in it. So like I pulled it up and the cup dropped and I made a TikTok about it, right? So cause that was my plan. I was like, I'm gonna post this on TikTok. I just had a good feeling about it. So I posted it, and then me, Dang, and Mason went about our day, and we like were driving somewhere, and then we came back home. Like we just went for a drive. And during that time frame, it like started to blow up. Like that TikTok literally stopped short like 20K views of like 1 million views. Like it has like 980,000, 960,000 or something like that, right? And it gave me the itch. I was like, whoa, like I did this shit off of a McFlurry. I ran up a milli off a McFlurry, bro. Like what the fuck? So it just gave me this motivation that I needed, where I was like, it just felt like this sign. So then I was like, okay, what could I do that would blow up? Like what do I know? What am I good at? What could I do? Like what the fuck can I do, bro? And so what I did is I was like, I'm gonna make Roblox meme videos on TikTok. Now at this time, it wasn't when you had to make a 60-second TikTok to make money, but the money you could make on TikTok was very minimum. So I started a TikTok account and I was posting on it. And I shit you not, within my first 3 posts, I went viral. And by viral, I mean like by the 3rd post, 1.4 million views within the span of like 2 days type of viral. And I posted again, 1 million views in a day. I posted again, 2.4 million views. And it just kept going and spiraling. And I started to build this connection with my audience. And like, it just was such a surreal feeling. And all of it felt like what I was supposed to do. So I started to get things going, but I wasn't making any like money yet. I was just building up with this faceless brand that I had built on TikTok by gaming, which I don't think you can make out what the letters say back there, but that sign is the name of my main YouTube channel and the TikTok account. Right? So I was posting on TikTok. And so that's what I was doing, kind of building up. And Mason and Dang were actively every day. Like when I would sleep, they would watch over my community because I was funneling Discord members via my TikTok. And then I would funnel those Discord members to Twitch, etc. And I was building up, right? And I just felt so driven. So I knew it. I was like, okay, I've always made content my whole life. I fell out of it for a bit, but this is my fucking purpose. Like I know it, bro. I know it. And so when I was sleeping, they would watch over my communities for me because I'd be up till like 6 in the morning, just making content, getting clips. I would sit in the game for hours waiting for the perfect clip at the time, right? Like hop on at midnight, and by 6 a.m. I maybe had 2 clips some nights. Some nights I got more within the span of 2 hours, but most nights I was up till 6 in the morning waiting for clips, the perfect one, because in that moment I was in my fucking element. Every video that I posted went viral. Like a flop for me during that era was 200k views. I shit you not. But anyways, despite this, I wasn't making money yet because you had to get monetized and then wait like 2 weeks after the end of the month to get paid and etc, etc, etc. So we reached a point where I was like, okay, I'm building this up. We still have our method to eat every day, so like I'm able to kind of save money to a degree. This is good. I'm starting to rebuild my life. And then bam, we get the note on the door. 5 days, pay or get the fuck out. We're like, fuck, bro. Like, even if I were to get all of the money that I got from views on TikTok, especially at that time, like during the summer time frame, I ran up over 100 million views within a 2-month time span. In total, I got paid like $1,200 to $1,500 for that. My nigga, if that was YouTube, nigga, do you know how much money you make for 100 million views? $1,000 for 100 million views? TikTok, I should sue you. But anyways, we're like, fuck, bro. And it's the Nick, bro, we didn't even have money to buy like a bunch of shit to pack our shit up in. We're just basically planning on throwing all of our shit in trash bags and waiting for them to knock our door and be like, yo, y'all gotta go. Like, we didn't know what the fuck to do. So the night of, where we're on like night 4, next morning, day 5, we'd be gone. Not just gone by the end of the day, we'd be gone by like lunchtime at the latest, right? And we're like, fuck, bro, what the fuck are we gonna do? What the fuck? It's the end of the night. We're smoking because at that point, fuck it. We're smoking together. We're sitting together. We freestyle, whatever. We laugh. We damn near cry. And we go, listen, we literally all went, hey, whatever happens tomorrow happens. Either way, we were always in this together and we're in it together after this. Nigga, we don't know what's gonna happen. Like, we don't know, like, first of all, even the embarrassment, mind you, none of our families really knew how bad shit was at that time, right? Especially mine. So we would have had to have woken up and been like, yo, by the way, guys, we just got evicted. Our lives basically have been shit since the start of the year. Yeah, we need to move back in. Nigga, that's some shit, bro. I would rather blow my shit smooth off than have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit sucks. Like, that's a crazy fucking reality to have to face. So we're going to bed. It's like midnight, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. We have to be out basically in less than 12 hours. We go to bed, somehow manage to fall asleep, probably just from being so high. Wake up at about 7, 8 in the morning, leaving us with about 3 to 4 hours to be out of the place. As we wake up, Mason checks his email. I'm telling you, bro, the universe has your back, bro. I'm telling you. And during this lead up to feeling like we're about to be evicted, mind you, like I said, we were working together, we were synchronized, we kept intentions pure, energy pure, together. We were linked like perfectly. We called ourselves Trifecta. Like, our Snapchat group chat name was Trifecta because, you know, 3 people, right? The synchronization, the energy we had built in the Discord, in the communities, and etc. Everything we had worked for felt like the perfect sacrifice. Because you remember that COVID relief I talked about earlier in the video? Nigga, I shit you not. 4 hours left on the clock. We wake up all at the same time, basically. Mason checks his email because he has an email from them. COVID relief came through. They said, not only did they say yes, but they said when we received the email, our rental company should have received the email and the money. How much money, may you ask? Enough to cover all of our late rents. Okay, like 4.5 months of late rent. And on top of that, covered the rest of our rent because we had about 4 months left of our lease. It covered the rest of the lease's rent up until the final month. All we had to do was pay the final month of rent. Nigga, what? Look me dead in my face and tell me that's not some miracle shit. Look me dead in my face and tell me that the universe did not intervene in that moment. You can't tell me that's not the craziest shit you have ever fucking heard. Like, there's coincidences and then there is an actual gift from the universe. And that reason right there, ever since then, like even before that, I felt fully solidified the same way. And I have respect for all religions and all people. The same way religious people feel fully confident in God, that is the exact relationship I have with the universe from before that moment. And then it was solidified in fucking, not even stone, obsidian, my nigga. Shout out Minecraft. It was solidified in fucking obsidian from that moment on, that the universe and I were one and that it was looking out for us. Like, it was my firm belief. The universe is quite literally my God. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally. And we were like, what the fuck? We run out of our rooms. We're like, oh my God. We're hugging and shit, basically fucking crying, tearing up and shit. We're like, what the fuck? And then from there, it was just go time. I kept grinding with TikTok. It got to the point, nigga, I was averaging 100 viewers on Twitch at one point while still uploading on TikTok. Like I said, I ran up 100 million views total that summer. At one point, I went from 50K subs to 100K within the time span of 2 weeks. 1 week later, I'm at 200K followers. 1 week later, I'm at 300K followers. I ran up 400,000 followers on TikTok in less than 4 months of me starting. Less than 4 months, bro. We get to the final end of the fucking lease of that apartment. We pay it off because at this point, I got my TikTok check, you know what I'm saying, nigga? I got my Twitch check, you know what I'm saying? We pay off, you know, we always stacking money in our own ways, etc, etc, etc. We're trying to do what we can to like rebuild our lives because we quite literally, other than actually being dead ass homeless, sleeping under a bridge, sucking dick for, let me chill. We were at rock fucking bottom for us. For everybody, it's a different rock bottom. For us, we were at rock fucking bottom. We were clawing our fucking way back till we fucking bled at the fingernails, bro. We claw our way fucking up. We pay the last month. We then move to, on basically the same street, a house a few buildings down. Now we have our own little little house. It's a 3-bed house, 1 bath. Oh wait, technically it was a 4-bed because the entire attic was like carpeted flooring and it was a big ass bedroom, like the size of the living room, like, you know, so it's technically a 4-bed, 1 bath. All right, so we move into there. As we move into there, boom, I secure a Walmart brand deal on TikTok. They pay me fucking, I first undersold myself and I was like, oh, for like a few videos, I'll do $600 because I didn't know, and I was doing anything to secure the deal. I just needed the money because content was the only thing I was doing. The last job I had worked that I had lost because of COVID and losing my car and etc. was as a personal shopper at fucking Walmart, bro. You know when you you do an online pickup order at Walmart? I was the guy who got your shit together by carrying around this big ass 3-tier 6-basket fucking cart, gathered your shit and then put it back, my nigga, so that you could come pick it up. And that was my last job. I have not worked a job to this day since then. I have not worked a job since 2021. It's 2025, my nigga. It's like that. Sorry, let me chill, bro. This tequila's starting to hit, bro. We almost done. Cheers, nigga. So yeah, anyways, secure the Walmart brand deal. I get paid $4,500 for 4 TikToks, or maybe it was $4,750 for 4 TikToks. Yeah, over 4 grand. And all of the TikToks were like 30-45 seconds long, mind you. And then I did so well in the first part of that campaign as the underdog. I was one of the smallest creators at the time against verified TikTok creators. There was 15 of us in that first campaign. I came out as the top performer. Almost every video I posted got over 2 million views minimum. The smallest one was 1 point something million views, right? So the brand Walmart told the middleman company, yo, do whatever the fuck you gotta do to get this dude again. I don't give a fuck. So then they paid me more than they did the first time. I got paid like 5 bands or something like that, or like maybe the same amount roughly for 2 TikToks. I only had to do 2 that time, the second time around. 2 TikToks and I made basically 5 bands. 10 bands also on TikToks, nigga. We was just almost homeless, man. Dab me up, my nigga. Dab me up, my nigga. Ah, bro, we was just almost homeless. Okay, so the camera stopped. It always stops recording at like 17 minutes-ish, and I have to keep recording again. But anyways, that's probably a sign for me to wrap this up here. I mean, that was really the moral of the story. That is quite literally how we went from being less than 12 hours away, honestly, less than 4 hours away from being homeless and have them knocking at our door to getting clutched by the universe. Okay, shout out that COVID relief fund, but let's be real. The universe was looking out for us. We got clutched. And then from there, I used that money and that time and that blessing to keep building, keep grinding. And I didn't allow myself to get lazy. And I kept going and I kept going. And then eventually moved to a house. And then in that next house is when I was like, okay, I took my TikTok money because again, at the time they did not have, like TikTok was not very lucrative. It was very hard to make money. I made over 100 million views, barely even got paid $2,000 for it. That's fucking insane, my nigga. Fucking insane. So I took that money and I said, I'm gonna be a YouTuber. Then I started doing YouTube and it worked. Within 30 days, I was monetized. About 5 months after that, I was making $5,000 a month minimum. About 3 months after that, 5,000 was a bad month for me. And from there, the rest is history. This has been your boy Elon, man. Why do you fucking care? If you guys want more story times like this, please do let me know. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. If you're of age, have yourself a nice drink. You're doing good. I got some big things coming up for the 4th of July, some big streams and etc. So although I say this all the time, I promise you, this is not the last you'll be seeing of me. Not this year. Peace out, guys.